Welcome back, everyone. When President Trump appointed Justice Amy Coney Barrett to replace the late Justice Ruth Bader Ginsburg to the Supreme Court, outraged liberals attacked her as too right-wing, while elated conservatives swooned over the promotion of a protege of their hero, the late Justice Antonin Scalia. 5 years later, are any MAGA allies having buyer's remorse as the High Court prepares to hound down some of its most consequential decisions of the year? Devin Dwyer has our prime focus examining why Barrett is front and center, confounding her critics and angering some of those who say they helped her to get to the highest court in the land.
It was 5 years ago that President Trump celebrated Justice Amy Coney Barrett as a crowning achievement.
I know you will make us all very, very proud.
But now the junior conservative on the Supreme Court has become a growing target of MAGA movement rage.
We saw Justice Amy Coney Barrett side with John Roberts and the court's liberal wing. What a surprise there.
I know that Amy Coney Barrett is a rattled law professor with her head up her.
I'm worried about her. She's a little squishy.
And some right-wing voices even brand Barrett a DEI judge. Sources tell ABC News Trump is privately fuming with frustration. So what kind of justice has she been?
There's nothing in her work as a justice that is incongruous with what we knew from her scholarly career or from the confirmation proceedings.
To her critics,
she's probably a little bit more moderate, a little bit hesitant than other people may have predicted.
Constitutional scholar Josh Blackman is among a movement of conservatives that want Barrett to step down.
Her decisions and her votes have been pretty conservative, right?
Oh, no doubt she's conservative. I think she's just cautious.
Barrett has voted to back major rightward shifts in American law, overturning Roe v. Wade, ending affirmative action, limiting the power of federal agencies, and expanding the rights of gun owners.
I believe Americans of all backgrounds deserve an independent Supreme Court.
But she's also increasingly taken positions at odds with the right wing.
Justice Barrett has emerged as the center figure, the swing justice on the current Roberts court.
When the court unanimously blocked Colorado from kicking Trump off the 2024 ballot, Barrett wrote separately to chide her conservative colleagues for an opinion she called unnecessarily broad, and admonish the liberal justices for issuing a statement strident in tone. She signed on to that historic decision granting Trump sweeping immunity from criminal charges for his alleged effort to overturn the 2020 election, but broke with the other conservatives to insist the president could still be prosecuted. And in a high-stakes dispute over the nation's first religious charter school, a conservative goal backed by the White House, Barrett recused herself from the case, the resulting 4-4 tie giving liberal opponents of the school a win.
She's not just following the partisan political winds. She's not just following the latest fashions in judging. She's following what she thinks of as fundamental principles of legal judgment.
When Trump made emergency appeals to the High Court earlier this year, Barrett joined Chief Justice John Roberts and all three liberal justices to deny him relief. In January, she voted to reject Trump's bid to delay sentencing for his New York felony convictions, and later she voted to force the administration to pay out nearly $2 billion in foreign aid money that Trump had wanted frozen.
I don't know if she's approaching the job with sort of consistency and sort of backbone that you would want from a Supreme Court justice.
Going further, some of Barrett's critics claim the breaks with Trump are personal, pointing to her facial expression after the president's joint address to Congress in March.
That look to me was a strange look, and maybe we're reading into it. Maybe there's nothing there, but it seemed kind of weird.
That's about as close to stink eye as you can get. That's not a happy, I've had a couple of my ex-wives look at me like that.
Justice Barrett did not respond to ABC News' requests for comment, but her friends and former colleagues say the criticism is unfair and overblown. Data show Barrett has most often aligned with fellow Trump appointee Justice Brett Kavanaugh, and least aligned with liberal Justice Sonia Sotomayor, a strong conservative voting record, even if some of her votes have disappointed.
There are some people on both sides of the aisle, I suppose, who their understanding of a judge is a good judge is the one who always gives you what you want. I don't think that's ever been what most Americans want judges to be.
Still, Republicans are haunted by their past picks for the high court, who later morphed into frequent votes for the left rather than the right, prompting comparisons between Barrett and the late Justice David Souter, who was appointed by President George H.W. Bush and later branded a turncoat.
There's no really comparison to be made between her and Justice Souter, except for that each of them is being consistent to the judicial philosophy that they brought to the bench.
After keeping a relatively low profile during her early years on the bench, Barrett is now having a moment in the spotlight. This fall, she'll release her first book as a justice explaining her judicial philosophy, and she's stepping up public appearances in tandem with the court's senior liberal justice, Sonia Sotomayor, to promote civility.
I know that Justice Sotomayor respects me and we have affection for one another. I respect her very much, even when we disagree deeply about the merits.
President Trump has been respectful of Barrett in public.
She's a very good woman. She's very smart.
And he still needs her vote in several major legal challenges to his agenda. Meantime, in a turn few could have expected 5 years ago, even some of her liberal critics are offering praise too.
What makes a good justice is a justice who follows principles. What makes a great justice is a justice who follows those principles even when the pressures of the world are saying to do something different, and a justice who can articulate the reasons for her vision. And Justice Barrett is on her way to doing all of those things.
Barrett defying expectations and now closely watched as a justice at the center of a conservative court.
Many keeping their eyes on Barrett. Our thanks to Devin Dwyer for that.